November 8th, 2025. A muddy trench in eastern Ukraine. Russian soldiers thought they'd hidden it perfectly. They were being watched the entire time. This is the Type 75, North Korea's gift to Russia. And this is the last thing its crew saw. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to show you how Ukrainian drone pilots, armed with technology cheaper than a used Honda Civic, just destroyed a weapons system that traveled 4,000 miles to supposedly change the war. Spoiler alert, it didn't. This is the story of the hype predators and why Russia's secret weapon pipeline just got very public. Let's set the scene. Donetsk's Pokrovsk sector, November 2025. This is one of the most contested pieces of real estate on the planet. This is the Type 75 multiple launch rocket system. To the untrained eye, it looks like any other piece of Soviet-era artillery. But there's a problem. It's not Soviet, it's North Korean. Think about that. In late 2024 and 2025, North Korea didn't just send advisors, they sent weapons, rocket systems, battle tanks, missiles, hardware that Russian generals were counting on. Intelligence agencies now estimate that between 35 and 50% of all the ammunition Russia is firing is made in North Korea. We're talking 200,000 to 260,000 shells every single month. You heard me right. Russia is getting half its ammunition from a country that can barely keep its own lights on. A supposed superpower is now the #1 customer for the world's most sanctioned regime. Let that sink in. The Type 75 itself? It's a 107mm rocket launcher, a copy of a Chinese design. Not cutting edge, but in a grinding war, it works. It hurls high explosive and cluster munitions out to 8.6 kilometers, close enough to harass frontline positions. The Russian strategy was clear. Deploy lots of cheap firepower, maintain volume, and grind Ukraine down. But Russia didn't count on one thing. Ukraine's drone tech evolved faster than anyone expected. Enter the hype predators. Not your typical military unit. They're part of the 59th Separate Assault Brigade, and they are the masters of the FPV drone. Think of them as the eyes and the teeth of the modern Ukrainian army. And they are good, really good. These are the same guys who made headlines by using a $500 FPV drone to take down a Russian Mi-8 helicopter worth over $10 million. That's not a typo. A $500 drone versus a $10 million aircraft. FPV drones are the great equalizer. They're cheap, abundant, hard to stop, and in the hands of pilots like these, devastatingly accurate. On November 8th, they spotted something new in a trench near Pokrovsk. Something that didn't belong. Here's what makes this even weirder. These weapons didn't magically appear. They traveled over 4,000 miles, by ship, by rail, in broad daylight. And the world just watched it happen. A country under heavy international sanctions is running a 24/7 weapons factory for Russia. Ships leaving North Korean ports, trains rolling across Siberia, containers marked agricultural equipment that somehow weigh 40 tons. It's the world's worst kept secret, and it's turning Ukraine into a testing ground for weapons designed in Pyongyang. Russia's grand military strategy? Phone a friend. Unfortunately for Moscow, that friend is Kim Jong-un. But here's what they didn't count on. Ukrainian drone pilots have a 100% refund policy on gifts from Pyongyang. November 8th, 0723 local time. A Recon drone from the hype predators is hunting. The pilot? We don't know his name, we don't know his face, but we know he's really good at finding things people don't want found. The Russians dug a trench. Smart. They positioned the Type 75 inside. Smarter. They covered it with wooden boards and branches. Even smarter. But they didn't account for thermal signatures, metal reflections, disturbances in the soil. The hype predators' drones don't just see what's there, they see what's wrong. He spots it, marks the coordinates, calls in the strike. The combat drone launches, an FPV carrying a modified RPG warhead. Cost? Maybe $800. The Russian crew has no idea, no warning, no jamming, impact. The Type 75 is gone. North Korea's game changer lasted exactly 16 hours on Ukrainian soil before becoming scrap metal. North Korea's Yelp rating for this weapon system, 1 star. Review, lasted 16 hours. Would not recommend. Okay, real talk. That one launcher isn't going to end the war, but here's what it represents. 1. Russia is so desperate. it's buying half its artillery shells from North Korea. 2. North Korea has sent Russia roughly 9 million shells in 18 months, enough ammo to fill a freight train from New York to Los Angeles twice over. 3. Russia is also getting North Korean troops. Intelligence confirms at least 10,000 North Korean soldiers were deployed to combat zones last autumn, and Pyongyang is preparing to send another 6,000 troops to Kursk, officially for reconstruction work. That's not advisors, that's combat units. This is a permanent member of the UN Security Council, effectively running a GoFundMe campaign with Kim Jong-un. And Ukraine's response? Thanks for the target practice. In 2024 alone, North Korea supplied at least 100 short-range ballistic missiles that Russia used to strike Kyiv and Zaporizhia, targeting civilian infrastructure, destroying homes, killing civilians. In exchange, Russia gives them combat data, weapons testing, and military tech. It's a horrifying arrangement, playing out in real time. Here's the part that should keep Russian generals awake at night. The Hype Predator's entire drone arsenal. The Recon drones, the attack drones, the control gear probably costs less than that one Type 75 launcher, and they've destroyed dozens of targets. This is asymmetric warfare on steroids. Ukraine is fighting a $100 million war with garage-built technology and winning. It's like showing up to a Formula One race in a go-kart and finishing first. Every weapon Russia loses is a weapon it has to replace. And if its main ammunition pipeline is already taxed to capacity, then every launcher destroyed, every tank neutralized, is a loss that's harder and harder to recover from. Ukrainian drone operators have weaponized speed and adaptability. They turn cheap tech into devastating effects. It's the kind of advantage that compounds. So here's what this all means. In modern warfare, it's not about who has the most expensive toys. It's about who adapts fastest. A North Korean weapon system that traveled 4,000 miles lasted less than a day against Ukrainian drone pilots running on a shoestring budget. Russia's unbeatable military is now dependent on weapons from one of the poorest countries on Earth. And the Hype Predators, a unit you'd never heard of until today, are quietly changing the math of this entire war, one strike at a time. That Type 75 launcher in the trench near Pokrovsk, it's not coming back. But the Hype Predators, they're still hunting. If Russia keeps sending North Korean gifts, Ukraine's drone operators will keep sending thank you notes written in explosions. Now here's a question. Some people say Ukraine should negotiate and give up territory to end this war. But when you see stories like this, cheap drones beating expensive weapons, Ukrainian ingenuity outpacing Russian firepower, do you really think Ukraine needs to give up anything? Or is Russia the one running out of options? Drop your take in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this. Trust me, there's a lot more happening on this front that nobody's talking about. See you next time.